everyone, and welcome to this first episode of Onwards and Upwards. This series will look at the positive stories in the wake of Canterbury's disaster. Out there every day, there are people doing amazing things, acts of kindness, determination and courage. Individuals and groups determined to rebuild their lives are confronting challenges head on. If you need a little inspiration, we hope this program will help. One of the stories that is featured prominently in the media is in fact us, CTV. CTV lost 16 of its 28 staff and all of its equipment and files when the building collapsed. It's been an enormous amount of work to get back on air, but we felt it was important. Canterbury needed a voice. And so, we start our program tonight with CTV's story.
Well, it took a couple of days really to realise the impact and the hugeness, if that's the right word, of the devastation of the collapse of the CTV building. But we were able to regroup at one of the staff members' places, and those surviving members got together and basically hugged each other. Really showed that emotion and feeling that was out there. And then I just can't remember the exact time frame, but it must have been a week or so later that our chairman got the rest of the staff together, those survivors in the Tate's building next door to where we are located now, and discussed the options for going forward. In his own mind, it was never going to be that we weren't going forward. It was just the logistics of that happening. And that was the first day of planning, really, and we, as a group, decided that, yep, it was the right thing to do, if not for the memory of those that were no longer with us. But we felt there was a need, and also we had to go forward and show Canterbury that we can rebuild from this devastating earthquake.
Start of the end of the world, but it's feeling just like every other morning before. Now I wonder what my life is gonna mean if it's gone. The cars are moving like a half a mile an hour, and I started staring.
After the earthquake, we lost our entire storeroom, all of our tapes, everything. And so the first thing I had to think about as a programmer is how on earth I was going to find things to play, really.
Let's see how far we've come. Let's see how far we've come. Well, I believe it all is coming to an end. Oh well, I guess we're gonna pretend.
The first news broadcast went out on April the 18th. It was the first show to air on CTV. We thought it was important to give Canterburyans the news because local news is what they need at the moment. It was very stressful. We had to send a courier package with the news bulletin on a USB disk up to Auckland. The courier came at 5:30 on Friday to get the news up on Monday. By about 5 o'clock, things still weren't looking good. The courier arrived at about 5:15 and we had to bribe him with beer and chips to get him to wait around for us, and we're lucky we had such a great guy. We had such a great courier because most couriers wouldn't wait, but he waited for us and we got there and it looked really good.
This is gold, gold, gold. Oh, now I can't. I'm just trying some plants. I can't even work this.
I suppose when you're rebuilding a business from a zero base, it's not just the records and the financial part of it. It's also the staff. I mean, you've got all those emotions that are going on behind the scenes that you've got to deal with as well. And so, whilst we are slowly building the business back up again, we're doing it with all these other things going on in the background. That are still very raw in people's minds. Yeah,
it's certainly been a challenge because right back from day one, we didn't really have the equipment that we needed to get going.
We are broadcasting on Māori TV as well as on CTV. And in order to get us up and running, we have been working with a group called Broadcast Inc. up in Auckland. So even though our signal is being only mostly around Canterbury at the moment on the CTV UHF 44 channel, it's actually coming from Auckland and then being sent down here and then broadcast down here.
This is all the equipment that we use to broadcast. So just got a DVD duplicator, basically can dub DVDs and things like that. Computer that we use for email, very crucial around here because it's always good to have a bit of communication. capture box, which captures all our satellite feeds and captures DW, VOA, all our programming, cuts it up for us, which is good. Computer that sends all the bits and pieces up to Auckland, also uploads all our videos to YouTube, so everyone can view around the world. Chroma switch, which switches all our satellite bits and pieces, very technical. And obviously we've got different feeds and decoders that are coming through on these systems.
Yeah, we've received lots of new gear, some of it the same as what we used to use, and some of it a lot different, and we're having to figure out new ways to use this gear to our best advantage. Once we get moving and flowing, I think we've got a great chance to really build ourselves up.
I really wanted to see if I could find new and exciting programming, as well as bringing back the old things that I knew that people had loved, that we used to broadcast. And we've ended up with a number of really awesome offers from both international and national production companies. So it's a case of, I think, watch this space. There's some amazing things I've got up my sleeve that will be coming to CTV. So definitely for viewers, keep watching.
It has been hard in some ways because you're not working with the same people that you had 3 months ago.
It's a symbol. We were one of the buildings that went down, and we're one of the businesses to restart.
We really felt that Canterbury needed information, they needed interviews, they needed to know if what was happening with the earthquakes was normal, for example, what to do with all of the silt that was in their driveway and things like that. So we really needed to be able to bring that information to them. And it was important to get the channel back up and running and really do what we'd always done together as a group. And yes, there's a lot less of us, and it's harder, but I think it's definitely important. It would be so sad if all the work that we put in together as a group was just lost.
We want to make this channel better than it's ever been before, bring in more advertisers and just give it a real good go. And obviously now the facilities are very modern, so hopefully make the best TV we can do.
Let's see how far we've come. 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 Let's see how far we've come.
Like many schools around Christchurch, Rangiruru Girls' School had its fair share of damage. The Ferguson block on the east side of the school had to be demolished. However, they had a particularly interesting way of saying goodbye.
Well, it was lunchtime, so people were everywhere. They were in classrooms, in the library, outside. I didn't see what happened because I was under my desk very, very quickly while huge chunks of plaster and everything else rained down in my office. But in actual fact, once we got the clearance, people moved very quickly onto the sports field. And the students, they were fantastic because it was so scary. And they all knew what to do, which was good, and they all went to the place they needed to be, where we could start to check them off and see that we had everybody, which we did, which was good.
The school suffered their fair share of damage.
Certainly Te Koraha, the historic building, was swaying about a little bit because we were all in front of it. We could, some distance, but we could see it. At the time, it was hard to tell. I think it was just some time before we were able to really assess how much damage there was. And initially it didn't appear to be too bad, but it's when you start to do your engineering assessments that you see how things have moved and where they've moved and where they've sunk. I mean, there was quite a bit of liquefaction around, and cracks in the concrete and paving stones thrown up, all that sort of thing that happened all over Christchurch, really. Yeah. But actually, we were pretty lucky. Buildings didn't actually, parts didn't fall down. So everything actually stayed upright.
So no students were in danger?
No, No, which was enormously. We're very fortunate in that one.
When the school was checked by engineers, they were given the news that one of their blocks needed to be demolished.
The Ferguson block is, it's a teacher, it has 12 classrooms, it has all our student services, so it has our learning support, our gate, the dean's offices. It's got a huge amount of the school heart is sort of happening in that building. It's also got the Year 12 common room, so they've been without their common room for a wee while, but they're coping, and we'll find another one for them. So it's got a lot of our support structures within it, as well as a lot of classrooms.
Okay, so this is the Ferguson building.
This is indeed, yes.
And I hear that you had a creative way of saying goodbye to the old building.
Well, we let the girls write their messages inside and out. So, yes, so that they could say goodbye. It's a very important part of the school, and it's been here since the early 60s. And some of the messages were just lovely. And I particularly like the one that said, "Nothing lasts forever." And sort of things like "Goodbye Ferguson." It has served the school really, really well. And whilst it opens up exciting opportunities, and it's certainly going to open up a huge gap, it's also sad to see spaces that have been part of your life go. So I think, some of the messages reflect that the girls are both sad and realise that things do have to change and things have to move on, and bricks and mortar have to come down. It's one of those ideas that it's grew, and we said, well, yes, it was something they could do. It was a nice idea, a nice way for them to say goodbye to the building. So I'm honestly not sure where it came from, but I do know one student had the idea of keeping some of the doors, and that each year group would sign a door, and I think that was a stunning idea, and we have kept 7 doors, so each year group will sign their door, and that will be their record of this year. That was the year group, and those will be used somewhere, and probably in one of our new buildings. It's funny, it's actually, I think it is sad. On the other hand, we are looking ahead to the exciting things we can do. We do want to create some nice spaces for the girls. The site as it is quite tight. So we actually want to open it up a little bit. I honestly don't know where. There'll be something here, but what it is, I don't know. In the meantime, we're hoping to put down lawn so that it looks really nice and tidy.
This is our Canterbury, rich farmland history. United we are together through all kinds of weather here in our garden city, historic and so pretty. Some things may have changed, and now we lend a helping hand. Canterbury can, here we stand, that's our plan. Canterbury can, Canterbury can, we love this land. On and on, standing strong, Canterbury can. Here in our Canterbury, high mountains, rivers and streams, our heroes all around, people like you and me. And now we work together, building a brighter future. Stand strong, we can't go wrong, because we have these helping hands. Canterbury can, here we stand, that's our plan. Canterbury can, Canterbury can, we love this land. On and on, standing strong, Canterbury can. As we build, road by road, wall by wall, home by home.
Our children's children will recall when times get tough. We don't give up because we have these helping hands.
Canterbury can, here we stand, that's our plan. Canterbury can, Canterbury can, we love this land. On and on, standing strong, Canterbury can, Canterbury can, here we stand, that's our plan. Yes we can, Canterbury can, Canterbury can, we love this land. Canterbury can.
Our next feature tonight is the work of a special group of people at the Littleton Community House. Littleton was hit hard by the earthquake on February 22nd, and out of tragedy has come some wonderful stories of kindness and community spirit. Kathy Besant, Christine Wilson and a team of wonderful volunteers have been cooking up to 40 hot meals every afternoon, delivering an evening meal to the elderly and those in need around Littleton. Sasha Stevens and I paid a visit.
Whenever I'm down, I call on you, my friend, a helping hand you lend in my time of need.
The Army set up tents at the Recreation Centre, which was Civil Defence headquarters, and they put in gas burners and cookers and cooked for the community. And it was quite a magical time because some of the local artists came down with their guitars and their violins, and they would just strum along and play while people were eating. And we realised that there was a section of the community, older people, that weren't able to physically get down to the meals. So we decided we would start running meals out to them, which we did do, lunch and dinner at night.
Well, Kathy, who you met prior, basically it was her initiative that they started from the rec centre, and then it was probably about the second week after the earthquake that Recovery Centre set up there and Civil Defence moved out. So Kathy came down. I had seen her during that process and said to her, if there's comes a time, you know, if there's anything you want us to do to support you, just come and let me know. So she came and knocked on my door one day and she said, can we use your kitchen? And that's basically how it started.
We had to find somewhere to work from or decide that we were going to close down. And I decided that there was a need and I would like to try and continue it. And we did have a lot of food that had been donated that I was given to do it with. So I approached Community House and Christine Wilson and asked her if we could do it from here.
We've just really tried to accommodate what's happening because we see it as really essential to be happening here in the community. So as you can see, the kitchen's not huge, but we've rearranged it a bit, brought in some more freezers and fridges to accommodate the food that's been sent in, rearranged our cupboards a wee bit. One of our offices is currently turned into a storeroom, and the girls that are here working at the moment have all just put their hand up when they heard about it and said we'd love to come down and help, and they've been here ever since.
I don't do any cooking. I drive the project, but we have no bosses. We have a group of people that have equal say and equal input. We just work as a very harmonious group. It's great.
So we probably have about 10 volunteers altogether. That's with the drivers, and we're really at a point now, because we know it's going to be an ongoing thing, especially through the winter, that we've got a roster drawn up of who's coming in each night to cook. The girls do the cooking, obviously. Kathy is really pivotal because she knows the people that the meals are going out to, so she works a lot out in the community. I help source the funding for it and basically just speak to the people that are bringing in the food and just generally just making people aware that this is what's happening, because we would like to see it continue for as long as we can. What are we stirring up there, Alice?
Oh, it looks good.
Denny.
What do we got on the menu today?
Sausage casserole for people today.
Oh, sausage casserole. I'm sure they'll like that.
So how many people do you cook for?
Originally it was 18 to 20, now we're up to around about 40 people each evening. So they also get dessert most of the evenings too. The girls always like to send them out a wee treat to have with their cup of tea.
I call on you, my friend, a helping hand you lend in my time of need. Whenever I'm down, I call on you, my friend.
I'll just go ahead there.
Here we are.
ladies.
So nice to see you.
There we go.
What would we do without you, eh?
You're very, very welcome. Yes, have a nice evening. Stay warm. Just see if Harold's in there. Hello, Harold. It's Tears. Evening meal. And shall I put it on the bench for you as usual? Good-o. Enjoy that. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Have a nice night. It is indeed. And you're 81 today?
81.
Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations. Well done. And I hope you enjoy your meal tonight, Marianne.
I will.
It's a very special day for you.
I do enjoy them every day.
Oh, that's great. Oh dear. Good. Hello, Reuben. Reuben, this is CTV here.
Hello.
Reuben, how's the day been?
Oh, not too bad.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Been out and about down the town?
Yep, an exciting new town.
That's what we say, onwards and upwards now for us.
That's right.
Yes.
Time of need. Whenever I'm down, I call on you, my friend. I call on you, my friend.
Good evening, Chrissy.
Hello,
Here
dear.
we go, the evening meal.
Oh, yeah.
Just here, does that suit you? Yeah.
Just one of those days when you say the right thing to keep me moving on, to keep me going strong.
We just will let it run and see what happens. The detractors tell us that we are creating a group of people that are becoming reliant on us, and that may well be, but then the people that are supporting us, like the medical centre, are telling me that the health stats of the people that are getting these meals are improving.
If there's a need, people just turn up and want to support whatever it is. And we've been very fortunate. We've had people just bring food in. People pop in and say, can we bake? Can we do this? Just, whatever.
You'll arrive at somebody's place and hand their meal over, and they will quickly hand over 2 plastic bags full of fruit or vegetables from their garden, so to be brought back and utilised. So, yeah.
So a lot of these agencies are asking, how do you do it? Some suburbs probably need to come over and find out. And I'm not saying that we're better than anybody else, because that's not what I mean. But, I think we do consider ourselves lucky that we do have such a close-knit community.
It's open to anybody that we feel requires our help. We don't worry about whether people can afford to pay or not afford to pay. It is just the community looking after the community.
If you know of someone doing something amazing, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate your support. I'm Natalie Slade. Take care, and we look forward to seeing you next week.